Return of the Millionaire Show, plus Jag's singing surprise on ET.
Hospitals, doctors, and pharmacists. Too many deadly mistakes and near misses. President Clinton promises a crackdown on medical errors. We'll report to you what you can do to protect yourself. After a week of sometimes violent demonstrations in Seattle, the police chief resigns under fire. And no contact. Lost in space. NASA looks for answers before launching any more Mars lander missions.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. President Clinton ordered action today on a problem that kills as many as 98,000 Americans each year. Medical mistakes by hospitals, by doctors, by pharmacists, and by patients. For starters, the president ordered health insurance plans covering 9 million federal workers to monitor for drug prescription and dosage mistakes. Mistakes that are deadly and preventable. CBS News White House correspondent Bill Plant has more about the impact of this. Medical, financial, and political.
The news that so many Americans are dying each year because of medical mistakes brought a sharp reaction from the White House. Meeting with healthcare providers, the president ordered new safety precautions.
We have the finest healthcare system in the world, the best professionals to deliver that care. But too many families have been the victims of medical errors that are avoidable, mistakes that are preventable, tragedies, therefore, that are unacceptable.
A recent study by the Institute of Medicine found that between 44,000 and 98,000 Americans die each year as a result of medical errors, making those mistakes the 8th leading cause of death in the nation, ahead of highway accidents and AIDS.
Now, let me be clear about one thing. Ensuring patient safety is not about fixing blame. It's about fixing problems in an increasingly complex system.
Mr. Clinton today ordered a plan within 60 days to increase patient safety, including automated patient monitoring and steps to make sure that pharmacies and hospitals don't dispense the wrong medicines. All private health plans serving federal employees must now develop plans for better quality care. The administration hopes the required higher federal standards will be adopted by the private sector. Federal agencies such as Defense, Health and Human Services, and Veterans Affairs must implement the latest error reduction techniques. But the federal government has not endorsed one of the most controversial recommendations of the medical panel, and that is creation of a new federal agency to police medical error. And those healthcare providers who were with the president today didn't get to say this in the Rose Garden, but if they're going to have to admit all their mistakes, they want some protection from malpractice suits. Dan?
Bill Plant. The study that uncovered the extent of medical mistakes found that a fatal error could be as close as the nearest pill bottle, pharmacy, or doctor's prescription pad. We asked CBS's Diana Olick to dig deeper into how and why this has become such a problem. Here's what she found.
Agnes Breslin and Carrie Viglucci were killed by the very drugs that were supposed to save their lives. A nurse in Albany, New York, mistakenly gave them the wrong doses. Their families are suing.
We have a tendency in our society to focus our attention on the advancements made in medical technology, and what we forget to look at is the basics, which is killing us.
And errors involving prescription drugs are among the greatest culprits.
It's inevitable. If you prescribe medications, you will either make a mistake or you will create an environment where mistakes can occur.
It can be as simple as bad handwriting. This illegible prescription caused a patient's death in Texas when the pharmacist took a chance and guessed the drug's name. And what's in a name? Plenty.
This is a pill called Norvasc. This is another very different medication called Navane. When written, they look very much alike.
When confused, they can be lethal. So why do drug companies use similar names like Celebrex and Celexa when there's so little shelf space and so much room for error? Because until now, no one was keeping track.
If I pull out of the parking lot tonight on the way home and bump into a car, the law says I have to call and report it. But there's no law that says I have to call and report it if I kill someone with the next prescription I write.
The medical and pharmaceutical industries have until now escaped such regulation. For example, a common parking ticket has to be written legibly or it's legally invalid. But a prescription that could save or kill you does not. One company is now developing a handheld electronic prescription pad with a built-in printer. Patients then carry the printout directly to the pharmacy. But ultimately, patients themselves need to check and recheck to make sure that what they need is actually what's in the bottle. Diana Olick, CBS News, Washington.
Joining us now, Dr. Bernadine Healy, our CBS medical consultant and president of the American Red Cross. Dr. Healy, what can we do to protect ourselves right now?
Actually, we can do a lot, Dan. First, we must be informed patients. We must know what medicines we're taking, what the dosages are. We must be able to read those prescriptions, and we must be challenging patients. We must ask questions. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, don't ever be afraid to ask why.
Can the government be expected to eliminate or even reduce these kinds of medical mistakes?
Well, Dan, I don't think there's any way the government can police every medical interaction, millions of them across the country. But what the government can do is first shine a spotlight on this public health problem, and I think the president did do that. But secondly, the government can help develop systems in concert, in conjunction, constructively with the medical community and medical institutions. We all have to start with the same premise. That is, to an individual doctor, one preventable death is one too many.
Dr. Bernadine Healy, thanks.
Thank you.
The police chief of Seattle announced his resignation today, the latest casualty of the violence that disrupted world trade talks last week. He stepped down under fire for police tactics during the disturbances that cost Seattle an estimated $20 million in damage and lost business. CBS's John Blackstone covered the battle in Seattle and has our update.
The scenes of what appeared to be police excess in Seattle have now become familiar. But when the city's police chief announced his resignation today, he apologized not to demonstrators, but to his officers.
Clearly, our officers faced overwhelming odds. They were on the lines for long periods of time, and they deserve every form of tangible as well as emotional support that we can give them.
There was criticism of Chief Norm Stamper's handling of the protests from the very beginning. At first, police did little to contain demonstrators. Officers were nowhere near when masked protesters began smashing windows. Then, police adopted tough new tactics. When a riot squad chased demonstrators into a largely residential neighborhood, even bystanders became targets.
I saw people who had just been pepper sprayed in the face sitting down on the grounds in pain with a police officer standing directly above them, popping shots down into them from inches away.
The police grumbled they were dangerously outnumbered, not given the support they needed.
To the extent that they feel that they didn't get that, I personally apologize to them.
Stamper says he'll stay on the job a few more months while the city investigates incidents like this one seen often on television last week.
I don't know what preceded that incident. I don't know what provoked that incident. I would love to know that.
But Stamper says in all the turmoil, no one was killed or even seriously injured. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
In Worcester, Massachusetts, a homeless man and woman were charged today with involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of 6 firefighters. Police say the 2 were living in the abandoned warehouse and knocked over a candle that started the deadly fire. Firefighters are still searching for 5 of the 6 victims. President Clinton will go to Worcester for a memorial service Thursday. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, students return to the scene of the latest school shooting as investigators search for answers. A soldier's story of an alleged hate crime in the military. And 58 years after Pearl Harbor, American veterans still seeking justice from Japan.
2 large double cheese.
It's about time. I'm starving.
Whoa, that can't be cable.
It's DirecTV. You get all your favorite cable channels.
Kung Pao.
And it's the only service that gives you access to every pro and college sports subscription.
Donuts.
Plus now, you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitments.
DirecTV. What are you looking at?
Okay, who ate the remote?
I'm the Black & Decker floor buster. I eat broken glass for breakfast. I eat cat litter for lunch. Let's just say I have an insatiable appetite. I'm the floor buster. I'm built by Black & Decker.
Today we step on the gas in a brand new vehicle with 0 miles on the clock and over 200 years of experience behind the wheel. ExxonMobil.
Still hanging around, waiting for the right online trading offer?
swing over to Power Street by Fidelity, where you could win free trades for life. You also get customized information and online trades starting at $14.95. Log on to Fidelity.com for complete details. Power Street, where you could win free trades for life.
We know more tonight about the 13-year-old boy accused of opening fire on his classmates yesterday in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. We now know where he got the handgun. What we may never know is what drove him to start shooting. CBS's Maureen Maher is following the investigation.
Fort Gibson Middle School students arrived this morning to a campus still cordoned off with crime scene tape and surrounded by police. But there were few answers for dozens of students who witnessed the barrage of gunfire in what's being called the state's worst day of school violence.
I told them that just because one student made a mistake, that didn't mean we were all evil.
Police still don't know why 13-year-old Seth Trickey fired off 15 rounds of ammunition Monday morning on a parking lot full of unsuspecting students, wounding 5 children.
He was yelling all kinds of stuff, but he kept saying, I'm crazy, and all kinds of other stuff, and he was just yelling.
Unlikely behavior from a boy who by most accounts was well-liked, a straight-A student, even attending a church-sponsored ski trip with friend Kelly Coy.
And he was just real sweet and kind to everyone, and he's kind of shy, and so he just wouldn't be a kid that you'd expect it.
The 7th grader has been silent since arriving at the Muskogee County Detention Center. The 9mm semi-automatic handgun police say he used was purchased by his father in 1993.
I never would have dreamed that Seth would have done that, but, I mean, things happen, you know.
Living on the outskirts of Fort Gibson, the Trickeys are an affluent family that locals say fit in well in a church-going town that is known for being neighborly.
They're in church. They're just a good family, and it's just, we're devastated.
Trickey will be arraigned next week, but prosecutors still have not decided what charges will be filed against him or if legal action will be taken against his parents. Maureen Maher, CBS News, Fort Gibson, Oklahoma.
Here in New York, Caroline Kennedy Schlossberg made a rare public appearance today and talked about her late brother John, killed this past summer in a plane crash.
John took his work and his commitment seriously, but always brought laughter to the enterprise at hand. He was determined to set his own course and live his own life, and I think that this is one of the qualities that people most admired about him.
Caroline Kennedy Schlossberg was speaking at an awards ceremony for the Robin Hood Foundation, an organization carrying on John Kennedy's dream of helping underprivileged children. Up next here on CBS, NASA holds up the next Mars mission till it knows what happened to this last one.
Are we going to have a good time tonight?
Bye, Dad. Thanks for jumping in and watching Tyler.
Bye, Mommy. There he goes.
If you knew you were going to be a babysitter today...
Oh, uh-oh. Glad it wasn't my teeth.
You would have made sure you used Fixodent.
Come here. Oh, what are you doing?
Hey, smart move. You did use Fixodent. So now you're ready.
I gotta wait.
For just about anything. Or an even better fit. Fixodent and forget it.
So instead of paying a separate commission every time you trade, you'd pay an annual fee. Trade all you want.
All I want?
Yeah, virtually unlimited.
Oh, really?
Remember the financial plan we're working from here, Dad. The point is long-term capital appreciation.
I know.
You just don't want you sitting by the computer all day buying and selling stocks.
Yeah. Show me how I log on to your research.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, investing is serious business, Dad.
I promise I'll do my homework, okay?
You know how much Grandma wanted to be here for your first Christmas? You see, Grandma lives way down here, and you live way up here. Brian, your cousin, he's a little bit older than you. He lives here in Chicago. And your Aunt Lisa lives here in Baltimore. Uncle Ernie? Way out in Hawaii. Oh, but don't you worry. We'll always be together for Christmas.
Being together is the best part of the holidays, and Cheerios is happy to be part of the family.
You just ate Dallas.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather one, gather all. You're going to see something that will truly astonish you. A talking dog. This dog not only speaks right, it's cowboys and cowgirls, come on over. I'm going to show you something truly amazing. This is an alien space egg, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, step right over this way and you will see the world's most amazing computer deal. That's right, it defies belief.
Computer deals that sound too good to be true usually are, unless it's a Gateway PC. For $28 a month, you get a PC with a year of AOL included from a company you can believe in. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
NASA Director Dan Golden ordered a major investigation today into the loss of the Mars polar lander, a move that's expected to delay future spacecraft missions to Mars. This follows the failure of NASA's last real shot at drawing a bead on the $165 million polar lander to make contact. They may be space scientists and engineers, but the look of disappointment on their faces today was universal. For context, let's go to our veteran space consultant, Bill Harwood at the Kennedy Space Center. Bill, what happens now?
Dan, in the near term, NASA's got a very big problem. They never made contact with the Mars polar lander, so they don't know what went wrong with it. And that's important because there's a series of missions coming up. They obviously need to make sure that whatever did this one in doesn't happen again. What they're actually talking about right now is taking a satellite that's already in orbit, the Global Surveyor, using its powerful cameras to look down and see if they can see the landing site, maybe the crash site, I should say, or perhaps the lander itself, its parachute. If they can figure out when this accident happened, it'll help them zero in on what they need to do to make sure it doesn't happen on the future flights.
In the bigger picture, Bill, NASA was forced to move to a philosophy of faster, better, cheaper. Do they or do they not have to rethink that now?
Well, I think faster, better, cheaper is here to stay, Dan. I mean, the days of billion-dollar missions are over, and that's probably a good thing, or we'd be talking about a much more serious setback right now. But clearly they need to go reevaluate their management systems, how they're implementing these programs. They need to change their slogan, perhaps, also, from maybe faster, cheaper, better to faster, cheaper, smarter, perhaps.
Bill Harwood, thanks.
Thank you.
More trouble on the launch pad today for NASA. The shuttle Discovery astronauts arrived only to find their flight to fix the troubled Hubble Space Telescope delayed for a fifth time. The mission is now 2 months late. The latest one-day delay is to fix a damaged cable found on the shuttle. If the shuttle's not off soon, NASA will hold up the 10-day mission to avoid any possible Y2K glitches. Just ahead here on CBS, a soldier on trial for what prosecutors say was an anti-gay hate crime.
If you're one of the 36 million people who wear dentures, this is big. New 5-Minute Polydent cleans stains, then forms an invisible PolyShield barrier so you feel fresh all day. 5-Minute Polydent with PolyShield.
In this life, there's just no stopping. No break for a hacking cough, raw sore throat, fever. But there is TheraFlu. Fast, soothing hot liquid therapy. Maximum strength TheraFlu. Instant comfort, powerful relief.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. I'm tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
Maybe it was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10-20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which we consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premiums.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
Guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor. What do you know about expense
The
ratios?
expense ratio is a percentage.
Oh, that was some meatloaf.
And some heartburn.
Oh, yeah.
Want some Tums?
Oh, we could try these new Pepsid AC gel caps.
Are you kidding? They aren't going to be fast like Tums. They're just as slow as regular Pepsid.
Tums calcium neutralizes acid fast. Pepsid gel caps famotidine has to go all through your bloodstream before it starts controlling acid, so it's just as slow as regular Pepsid.
Well, so you want to wait? Or you want the Tums?
Forget about it. There's the Tums.
Nobody in America sells more office products to more businesses than Office Depot.
You can shop our store. Or you can shop our catalog.
You can shop online.
Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business and working overtime. Work out.
Office Depot, taking care of business.
A U.S. Army private went on trial today for murder, accused of fatally beating another soldier who was believed to be gay. The case has revived charges that gays are persecuted in the military in spite of the government's don't ask, don't tell policy. CBS's Cynthia Bowers has the story.
Just minutes after his court-martial got underway, Army Private Calvin Glover did an about-face and confessed to the killing of a fellow soldier last July, a soldier widely believed to be gay.
He worked hard in the military, wanted to be a pilot.
Today, Glover cried as he told the court how he beat Private First Class Barry Winchell with a baseball bat as the soldier lay sleeping in his barracks. But he called the killing unintentional, a drunken mistake. Prosecutors call it premeditated, and still others a hate crime.
Barry Winchell faced anti-gay harassment for at least 4 months prior to his murder.
Dixon Osborne and former Army Captain Michelle Beneke had an organization that monitors complaints about the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. They say the policy creates a climate of intimidation that still continues.
Soldiers and leaders have made comments to the effect that I have a baseball bat for you if I find anyone gay in my unit.
Harassment is up throughout the military, 120% this year alone, even though gay advocates say many victims never report it because they fear they will face scrutiny and almost certain discharge. In fact, the number of gay discharges from the military has almost doubled since 1994 when the policy took effect to more than 1,100 last year. Despite his guilty plea, Calvin Glover's court-martial continues. Prosecutors believe a life sentence is the best way to send the message that hate crimes will not be tolerated within the ranks. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
On the CBS Health Watch, a 4-year study of 40,000 nurses suggests even small changes in weight can have a major impact on quality of life. The results published in the Journal of the AMA showed that overweight women over age 45 could handle everyday life activities better and have significantly fewer aches and pains by losing just 5 pounds. Next on the CBS Evening News on Pearl Harbor Day, former POWs demand justice and an apology from Japan.
Resolve, stadium.
My driving test kind of got off to a bad start.
On calls like this, you want to talk a while. That's why it's always a good idea to dial 10-10-321.
Well, I thought I was in first.
With 10-10-321, you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. But that's just 8 cents a minute, day or night.
I was supposed to turn on the blinker.
And no monthly fees. And at 50% off, you can go on and on and on.
So finally, I pull out of the parking space.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
I'm on an all-night flight when suddenly, terrible heartburn. The guy in the next seat says, here, try this, Zantac 75. Thanks, I say. I really ought to talk to a doctor about what to try. He says, you just did.
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
Thanks, doctor, wherever you are.
Zantac 75 for tough heartburn. Doctors know.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
All right, kid, here we go.
What do you got? What do you got? Yeah. All right, come on.
What would you do if someone you loved had a heart attack? Did you know it's now been proven that the same Bear aspirin you have in your bag for muscle aches may actually help stop you from dying if you take it during a heart attack?
Downtown, lucky shot.
Can your pain reliever do that? Talk to your doctor now.
Next time I'll go easier on you.
Bear, powerful pain relief and so much more.
President Franklin Roosevelt called it a day that will live in infamy, and it has. 58 years ago today, Japan launched the sneak attack on Pearl Harbor that forced the United States into World War II. Today, as American veterans mark the anniversary, some are still seeking justice from Japan. In tonight's Eye on America, CBS's Wyatt Andrews looks at wounds that haven't healed.
This is when you were being punished, this is the type of cell that they would put you in.
The saying, forgive and forget, is nonsense to Bob O'Brien. In World War II, O'Brien, a Navy gunner, was captured and held prisoner by the Japanese for 3.5 years. That's him, the starved but smiling man, on the day of his liberation. These are some happy faces.
Oh, Jesus, aren't they happy?
Never mind, this was 54 years ago. 2 months ago, O'Brien filed suit for monetary damages, and his is just one of 17 similar lawsuits recently filed against the Japanese.
But we're talking now 54 years after the fact.
It's still the same. They're still my enemy.
I want these guys recognized. I want an apology.
O'Brien's attorney, Eli Warwick, says these lawsuits use a new legal theory. He argues since the Japanese military gave up their captives to do slave labor for private companies like Mitsubishi and Nippon Steel, those companies now owe those slaves damages.
They were prisoners of war used as slave labor, and that's against every concept of warfare.
O'Brien was one of those slaves. After his ship, the USS Houston, went down, he became one of the 30,000 American POWs who did hard labor for corporate masters in Japan. He mined iron ore for Nippon Steel. These veterans have a new legal approach, but not an easy case. Back in the 1950s, the U.S. government knew all about the prison atrocities, but it needed Japan as an ally. And so it signed a treaty that seems to sign away the rights of these men. That peace treaty with Japan clearly waives all claims of the Allied powers and their nationals for any actions taken by Japan and its nationals. Japanese diplomats say that's it.
It has been settled completely and finally by the San Francisco Peace Treaty.
The companies being sued also argue the treaty ends the legal issues. But there is one company, Mitsubishi, that calls this a moral issue deserving investigation.
We will also look into it from the human aspect and whether there are things that we have done that we should apologize for.
As for apologies, 50 years after the surrender in 1995, Japan expressed remorse for wartime suffering. But to this day, Japan does not specifically admit the enslavement of prisoners ever happened.
The Japanese government simply has not made any judgment on that point.
Does that mean that in Japan, this is questioned? This is not a historic certainty?
I think this is rather a new issue.
And that's the crux of it to veterans like O'Brien. If Japan won't own up to the truth, he won't let go of his rage.
They ain't never shaken our hands, have they?
That's what this is about?
That's what this is about. They've never shaken our hands.
So scores of these men, now in their 70s and 80s, have filed suit alongside O'Brien. They see themselves as survivors with an untold story, veterans with an unhealed wound. In Newville, Pennsylvania, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
And that's part of our world tonight. I'll be back later with 60 Minutes, too. Why would a man confess to a crime he didn't commit? Because the police used electric shock on him. Also, Jodie Foster breaks her silence about John Hinckley.
What a scarring, strange moment in history for me.
60 Minutes, too. Tonight at 9, 8 Central Time here on CBS. Now for the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you again soon on 60 Minutes, too.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Do these teens look like national trendsetters? They are, and big spenders, too.
I love shopping so much. Like, if I could pick anything to do, it would definitely be shopping.
Tomorrow is brought to you by Teplic